Yes, I mean, it's not easy all the time, but when you see a story, sometimes you just realize that there is something not correct, you know? Sometimes you're not sure about the source. Sometimes the story is not coherent. When you see it, if you realize something is absurd or not as usual, I try to go look at the sources to verify the story or the news from other prestigious news outlets. Sometimes you can say, but sometimes it's not that easy. I think that makes the fake news so dangerous for the democracy. Yeah, as I said before, it's very often. For example, I'm an accredited journalist at the European Court of Human Rights. The statistics of the court are very important for the prestige of the countries. Victims of the violations of human rights in that countries, they say that statistics show that the country does not respect the human rights. But the government officials tell otherwise. They say we implement those judgments and they give a number of percent something, and they say, you see 90% of the decisions implemented, etc. So they are basically manipulating some statistics. So as a journalist, what I do is I check all the detailed statistics. I look at how the statistics are classified and what are their meaning. I drew my own conclusions so I can check if the government's declarations are correct or not, or the news articles are reflecting in a correct way what statistics mean. As I said, it's to go back to main source, to the base, to be able to distinguish if a story is fake or not. With the Cambridge Analytica case, we all became aware of the fake news. But it was not a, modern time story. It's like there was always an effort of manipulation, speculation, and how to manage the public opinion, etc. So, of course, it has a huge influence on people's decisions because, especially today in social media, we get informations mostly, and especially the young people, and we make our ideas from what we get as an input. So sometimes it's really hard to distinguish what's correct and what's false. Lots of groups or lots of countries use this kind of information to destabilize the democracy inside other democratic countries. Not all the people have the opportunity to check the information is correct or not. As a journalist, it's my job. Of course, I have my time. I spend lots of time to check a story or statistics, but other people, they have their job, they have their family, they have lots of things going on. So they have like maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes to look at the news, mostly on social media, and they will get the information as it is. So they will construct their idea upon that information they took. Of course, when this fake news is spread enough, they can have a huge influence on public opinion. We also have some reports lately. For example, cybersecurity agency in France, they realized that an Israeli company has a huge influence on elections by spreading fake news. And also we discuss a lot in this council as well, like how Russian hackers or Russian government using fake news to destabilize European democracies. The most difficult part is to determine if an information is fake news or not, or how it started to spread. You need a technical analysis. Today, European countries trying to develop lots of technical softwares so they can determine which accounts spread that information. Because once a fake news become popular, it's really hard to track it back. You can't find the source. So, and by the time you realize it's a fake news and it's influencing, it has a huge influence on the society, it's already spread. Already maybe hundreds of thousands of people saw it. So it's a very big problem. Yeah. First of all, critical reading is very important. When we see an information, we should think it can be correct, or it can be manipulated, or it is spread for other purposes. If we have time, we should go check from prestigious sources. For example, there are lots of news media outlets, and we see a news article. For example, I look at Reuters, BBC, or Le Monde, or other Agence France Presse on the media that we can rely on to check if it's correct or not. Of course, everybody do not have that time, but we shouldn't take everything we read or everything we saw as correct.